It started like any ordinary night. Two students, a casual stroll, a shortcut through the old subway line they'd explored before. They were laughing, holding hands. The timestamp read 9:17 p.m. Everything looked normal. Then, they were gone. No alerts, no calls, just silence. And when the footage was pulled, frame by frame, they were seen walking in, and after that, nothing. A still tunnel, empty tracks, and a question that's never been answered. This is the last known footage of Lily and Jake. Lily Carter and Jake Moreno weren't thrill seekers in the traditional sense. Both were third-year media students at New York University, known more for their quiet curiosity than any loud rebellion. Lily had a mind for history and a fixation on spaces left behind. She used to sketch abandoned factories as a teenager in Buffalo. Jake grew up in Queens, fascinated by old infrastructure, always with a camera in hand, documenting graffiti-covered bridges and neglected alleyways before he even had a driver's license. They met freshman year during an elective on urban decay and cinema. One late-night project turned into a passion: urban exploration. As part of a small online group called Sublayer, they built a modest but loyal audience, viewers drawn to their raw, intimate footage of storm drains, forgotten rooftops, and derelict hospitals, places that felt outside of time. On May 12th, they left their shared apartment in Crown Heights at precisely 8:56 p.m. A neighbor later recalled seeing them laughing at the stairwell, Lily in her boots and army green backpack, Jake with his GoPro shoulder rig. Their goal that night was a rumored ghost tunnel below Franklin Avenue, an unused maintenance route whispered about on Explorer forums, said to be locked since the 70s. At 9:17 p.m., subway camera 6B caught them stepping off the grid. Jake appeared first, flashlight steady, hoodie zipped up. He turned toward the lens and gave a small, almost joking wave. Lily followed behind, swinging her beam down the tunnel's dark throat. She didn't look back. They crossed the yellow hazard line together and disappeared into shadow. And that grainy footage remains the last known image of them alive. For the next 48 hours, no one panicked. Their closest friends thought they'd gone deep, maybe filming in an off-grid location or editing somewhere remote. Lily had once disappeared for a full weekend, mapping old asylum tunnels in Yonkers. Jake was known to turn off his phone when cutting a new video. This was their rhythm. Their families, though a little uneasy, chalked it up to another obsessive filming session. By the evening of May 14th, the silence became impossible to ignore. Neither had posted. Neither phone had pinged a cell tower since May 12th at 9:22 p.m., just 5 minutes after entering the tunnel. Calls went straight to voicemail. Texts remained unread. A missing persons report was filed at 6:42 p.m. By midnight, NYPD's Transit Bureau had dispatched a search team. Officers scoured the tunnel entrances, checked old maps, interviewed locals. Then on May 15th, while examining a sealed corridor near the old Franklin line, they noticed a metal panel that looked disturbed. Dust patterns suggested recent movement. Scrape marks lined its base. Behind it, they found a bolted hatch, one nobody on record had ever opened. It took hours to breach. The air that rushed out was stale, metallic, and colder than it should have been. The shaft descended into the dark, and what they discovered at the bottom began to rewrite everything. The shaft led to a narrow, dust-choked corridor that didn't appear on any of the city's structural records. It wasn't reinforced like the other tunnels. No signage, no graffiti. The air felt heavier, like something hadn't moved in decades. The team advanced slowly, their flashlights catching odd angles where the walls bowed inward, warped by pressure or time, or something else entirely. Roughly 30 feet in, a searcher spotted fabric tucked beneath a broken pipe. It was Jake's hoodie, confirmed by a faded patch sewn on the sleeve. Oddly, it wasn't tossed or discarded. It had been folded neatly, placed as if on display. Near it, under a film of dust, lay a cracked GoPro lens and a single torn strap from Lily's bag. There were no drag marks, no footprints beyond their own, no blood, no signs of a fight or panic. Just those fragments laid out like artifacts. But it was what was on the wall that stopped the team cold. Scrawled in red marker, bold and uneven. "Don't follow the hum." There was no marker found nearby, no way to determine when the warning was written or who had left it. The ink looked fresh, but the dust layering the floor suggested the space hadn't been disturbed in years. And still, no sign of where Lily and Jake had gone. The corridor stretched on, vanishing into shadow, but no other clues remained. The tunnel was searched for hours. Teams returned with drones and sniffers, hoping to detect heat signatures or signs of movement. They found none. What had written that warning? Who had folded Jake's hoodie? The silence offered nothing. But 20 days later, a new clue surfaced. On June 2nd, a transit crew clearing debris from a partial collapse near the same tunnel made an unexpected discovery. Behind a rusted support beam, wedged deep in a crack of the wall, they found a damaged GoPro, its lens missing, matching the fragment recovered weeks earlier near the shaft. Electrical tape still held the battery in place. The initials JM were scratched faintly into the base. It was Jake's. Forensics were able to recover most of the footage. It began as expected. Handheld shots of graffiti-tagged walls, Lily laughing as she ducked beneath low-hanging pipes, Jake narrating as they speculated about the tunnel's original purpose. They moved deeper, filming everything. At the 14-minute mark, something changes. Jake's voice drops. "Do you hear that?" he whispers. The audio picks it up too, low and distant, a mechanical hum, deep, layered, unchanging. Not like machinery, more like it was alive. Lily freezes. She turns sharply, as if something moved in the corner of her eye. The flashlight flickers once, then again. The laughter is gone now. Just faint breathing, then silence. The final 5 seconds were static. The footage ended there. No more. As the weeks passed, theories about Lily and Jake's disappearance began to surface. The simplest explanation? They got lost. Urban explorers sometimes overestimate their knowledge of these forgotten places. A wrong turn, an unstable floor, or lack of air could have trapped them. But there's no trace beyond the tunnel, no bodies, no gear, only a broken GoPro lens and a folded hoodie. No sign of struggle. Some believe they stumbled onto an unmapped section of the tunnels. These parts, built before the 1940s, were never fully cataloged. There are reports of hidden off-limit corridors that are never inspected. It's possible they ventured too deep, but the lack of structural damage leaves this theory questionable. Those who've worked underground long-term speak of a mental drift that sets in, a subtle confusion, like time bending. Theories suggest they became disoriented, started walking in loops, chasing echoes. The message, "Don't follow the hum," may have been their own warning, written after realizing something was wrong. But that assumes they ever had time to leave it. Whatever the truth, none of the theories explain one unsettling detail. A maintenance log entry no one seems to remember filing. That brings us to the only real clue found much later, buried in paperwork. After a few months, a small but crucial detail emerged. In October, a transit clerk found a strange report from May 15th, titled Tunnel 14B, Routine Check. It was unsigned by any known employee, with only the name E. Rivas attached. The report read, "Mild corrosion behind panel 4, unusual odor." No action required. No one could find any record of this inspection. The investigation shifted 2 days later, when transit security reviewed overlooked footage from a secondary maintenance feed. At 10:04 p.m., roughly 45 minutes after Lily and Jake entered the tunnel, a figure appeared near the access to Tunnel 14B. He was carrying a duffel bag. His clothing was nondescript, not a typical work uniform. Before disappearing from view, he adjusted his bag as if listening to something. The footage was brief but striking. When investigators examined the footage closely, they found it was near the area where Lily and Jake had last been seen. No one could identify the man, and the signature Rivas left behind remained untraceable. Was he involved in their disappearance? Had he seen them? Or was he merely a witness to something far worse? Questions lingered, questions that, like the tunnels themselves, refuse to be fully answered. As the investigation stalls and more pieces of this chilling puzzle remain just out of reach, the truth behind Lily and Jake's disappearance may never be fully known. Was it a simple accident, or was something far darker at play beneath the city's forgotten streets? If you have any thoughts on what really happened that night, or if you've encountered something similar, we'd love to hear your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into mysterious and unsettling cases. Until next time, this is Mind Unfolded.